Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to AM Casa. Today I'm here with something incredibly special for you. I will be talking with someone special about a special brand, and that will be Ferdinand Berthoud for its 10th anniversary. We're going to delve a bit in the story of the brand and a little bit more. Finally, we're here with Vincent Lapère, General Manager of the brand.
Nice to meet you.
Likewise, great to have you, and thank you for your time and for bringing us a bit of joy with some amazing watches.
Sure.
I've heard from someone it's your 10 years anniversary.
Absolutely.
Let's start with super simple. What has happened in the last 10 years, and if you can just introduce us the brand a little for those who don't know already, and
yes.
How long have you been in the company as well?
Well, in the past 10 years, but of course we have to go back to the very first launch in 2015. After many years of preparation, we were able to unveil the first wristwatch bearing the name of Ferdinand Berthoud. Just to explain who is Mr. Ferdinand Berthoud, he was born in 1727 in Fleurier, in the Val de Travers, in the canton de Neuchâtel, where we currently produce these watches bearing his name. He is the father of marine chronometry in France, making the very early marine chronometers, allowing France to calculate longitude at sea, to make the maps for the first time very accurately, and of course to enter into competition with England for the conquest of the world, the oceans and the world. So it was a very important watchmaker, but also mechanic, but also a writer. He is a member of the Royal Society in London, member of the Academy in France, a member of the Institute of France, received the Legion of Honor for Napoleon himself. So he's a part of the legend of these milestones in the industry. He published more than 4,000 pages because he is not only a watchmaker and a mechanic, but he is also a member of the encyclopedia, so he shares his knowledge, he publishes in details to allow the next generation of watchmakers to copy his work, to improve his work, and to for the good of the humanity, because the accurate timekeeping is important actually for many fields.
Yeah, we don't feel it.
Well, we don't feel it, but it is.
It's really different. So
Absolutely.
I completely get it, and it was not just. It's cool that you said that, but it's not just watchmaker. But
no.
Back then, a watchmaker was a kind of how you can say, kind of an alchemist.
Yes,
somehow,
yes, absolutely. Oui.
Which is something hard to understand nowadays, but I think you managed pretty good to keep the legacy up, and so you decided to revive his name and to continue this legacy, which
Absolutely.
is impressive. And if you have to explain to someone who doesn't know Ferdinand Berthoud as a brand nowadays, what would you say? Just to give him an idea, because I think there's a lot to unpack.
Yes, it's a lot to explain. I would say the DNA of our brand, of course, because we are the name of the company that Mr. Scheufele our president chose to is chronometry, Ferdinand Berthoud. As we talk about marine chronometers, that means accurate timekeepers, most accurate one. We constrain us to have any Ferdinand Berthoud modern wristwatch to be officially chronometer certified by the CESC. What is absolutely unique in the field of niche haute horlogerie. We are the only one to have 100% cost certified. That is also a way to pay tribute to the work of Mr. Berthoud, but also to guarantee the accuracy of the watches, the resistance of the watch to the wrist of the collectors. What is very specific with our work is that we have the chance to have a very important private collection of antique Ferdinand Berthoud chronometers, longitude pocket watches, wall clock equation watches. So it's very, very important collection we have in Fleurier in a private museum. And we studied all these antiques in detail to be able to reproduce the work of Ferdinand Berthoud, to transcribe for a modern wristwatch by instance, to integrate a fusée and chain constant force device in a wristwatch, a remontoir d'égalité with a fusée and chain, and different or the helical hairspring, that means the cylindrical hairspring in our FB3 collection. Any elements, even the design elements, are inspired by the work of Ferdinand Berthoud. But we don't go for a passéiste approach, making old school watches.
Yeah.
We say Berthoud at his time was at the peak of modernity, and that's why we say we have to bring modern timekeepers for, I would say, the explorer of today's, the modern collectors.
Indeed, but that's what's most interesting to me, and since the beginning when I first met the brand, that was a bit what I felt, because, when we'll see this with the latest watch you just unveiled, which brings really like classic techniques, but indeed with a modern approach, which is super interesting. I would say the Fusée and Chain is your signature, more or less. We can say that. I think the whole industry knows you for that.
That's true.
I don't know if anyone else has used it recently, but I remember like a couple of examples.
Breguet in the Heritage Collection, some Zenith also, but in a different way, because we have patents for flying construction. We are the only flying, I would say, we call it suspended fusée and chain, what is a big achievement, allowing us to see completely the construction of the fusée and chain, what is more spectacular actually, but it was a very complex point. Like the tourbillon or the remontoir d'égalité we have, they are the only that display a central second, but it's an achievement because to have a central second perfectly stable in any position, even after shocks when you wear your watch, this took us many years of research and development. And on top of that, to have everything officially chronometer certified, this is again we push the limits. This is very important also. Like at the time of Berthoud, he was making very strong, reliable marine chronometers or longitude pocket watches, and we respect this because this is part of his history and legacy.
And it's also very useful nowadays.
Oui, absolutely.
For those who don't know, what is a Fusée and Chain?
Alors, a Fusée and Chain, we will take one of these watches here. We can, for instance, see here this Fusée and Chain integrated in the remontoir d'égalité movement with this skeleton finishing. This actually has a barrel here that houses the mainspring, and in front you have a cone, a truncated cone that looks like a pyramid, and between you have a chain. Actually here this is a chain that is 30 centimeters long, that integrates about 800 elements, everything assembled by hand, and this allows the energy to be always controlled and stable, bringing constant force or constant energy to the escapement, allowing the best possible rating. This actually, the technique is very old and very simple to explain. It's like a bicycle where you have the energy and in front you have the dérailleur, the other element that allows just to keep the flow constant. So, and by this patented flying construction, it allows to show all the elements, what is extremely impressive.
Indeed, and you also have the side, which makes it also.
We on these watches we had the windows, not because of the design, but this allows to see the chain that wraps around one element to another one. And this is a signature for Mr. Berthoud because in his marine chronometer, very early ones, he already added a lateral windows. So actually we just bring this element because this is part of his DNA.
Oh, it's absolutely crazy. I didn't know about that. And I mean, when you first restarted the brand, how long did it take for you since the idea of the first release?
I joined the company in 2011.
Okay.
And Mr. Schaeffler, our president, that is the president of Chronometry, Ferdinand Berthoud, but as you know that he's the co-president of the Chopard Group, tell me, I will talk to you about a special project I want to develop.
Okay.
And he explained me that he acquired the name of Ferdinand Berthoud, and I must say that I was really scared because I say, ooh, this is the master that trained Mr. Breguet.
Oh, wait.
So it's another reference of the same level, but 50 years before Breguet became a master. So it was quite a responsibility. And he told me, I want something exceptional, very small quantity. I want the best quality, hand finished to the highest level, to pay tribute to the work of the master. And the first year, actually, I spent a lot of time traveling to go to the museums around the world that have permanent exhibition dedicated to time, and especially in Paris, where you have the Museum of Art and Crafts called the CNAM, that means the Conservatoire National des Arts et Métiers, that has the complete workshop of Mr. Berthoud permanently exhibited in the third floor of the museum. It's very impressive because he sold his workshop to the King of France, Louis XV, and this was part of the patrimony. All his tools, all his work, all his books, everything he sold to the king for a very impressive amount of money. And he received a royal commission at the same time to produce 20 marine chronometers for the French Navy.
But that was also lucky because you had the possibility to see it all.
And these maintain all the patrimony in the condition, good condition, in the French museums that are amazing. So many treasure in France in the culture that very few people know.
Please share them with me whenever you like. I would love.
You have to visit one day this museum because it's you have all the information about historical technology that was crafted in France. Is like a cavern d'Alibaba. It's incredible, absolutely incredible.
Wow, fantastic. Well, I asked you about that because I think that to make a watch like this, I mean, every time I hear presentations and Watches and Wonders and wherever, there's so much into it that first of all you have to know before even doing a project. You have to have the knowledge about that.
Yes, I should.
And you need to know a lot to appreciate one of your watches, but that's not very true in my opinion. Like, you can already appreciate them on a design perspective.
Oui.
I feel like you have a very coherent design. That's why I was really curious to see Naissance de Montre 3, because I was like, how is it going to be? But I think there is a whole coherency. Do you think there are some specific design elements that are really omnipresent on every watch?
Yes, for sure. We have many aspects in our watches. The hands design, of course, the fusee and chain that changes shape depending on the calibers. The pillar construction of the movement, because this is very specific from the antique watches. There are no possibility to make elements with CNC machine, bridges, modern bridges that fix the wheels. So we reproduce that instead of just having CNC that makes the bridges and fix with screws. We go for pillar construction, that a little bit like we have different layers of bridges that are fixed by pillars that allows to have a very light structure and actually extremely resistant to shock, like a building. This absorbs shock, so the watches actually is extremely safe by wearing. You see, even the dial here, this external flange is fixed on pillar, that allowing to make a shadow so you can see through, not for design purposes, but because this is placed on top of the movement decoration and not to damage the movement decoration that takes 100 hours of work. We have to consider when the watchmaker will place the dial on it, if it's directly in connection with the movement, then it will damage his finishing, and this would not be good.
Yeah, at all. And you have a huge focus on finishing. All your finishings are pretty impressive.
We are quite at the peak with this.
But where did you, apart from the museums and the archive, where is nowadays your inspiration to go further? Because, I mean...
That was our 10 years of achievement, but you know, the patrimony of Ferdinand Berthoud and his nephew Louis Berthoud is huge. So I believe we have source of inspiration for at least the next 30 years. It's not so complicated to reinterpret it, and actually we just touched maybe 10% of his work. So you will see in the next 10 years we have quite serious project that will come.
Let's talk a bit about the evolution of what happened throughout these 10 years and finally about the latest project. So
we started with the fusee and chain displaying the tourbillon. So with a central second tourbillon, this is the only tourbillon displaying a central second that is CORS certified in the world.
Wow.
It's still an achievement. Here for this movement, we applied 4 patents.
Okay.
And after the fusee and chain tourbillon, here with this mobile cone that is also a little bit of signature that is now you find in different watches. Today we create a trend for this, for the power reserve display. And then of course the remontoir d'égalité, also the only remontoir d'égalité existing in the world, powered with a fusee and chain and displaying a central second. This is extremely difficult to craft because as the remontoir is storing the energy and releasing in a fraction of a second, the stability is very difficult to have. You can make remontoir with small seconds because if it's a little bit jerking, you will not see it. But with this, is impossible. So you have to guarantee an absolute stability. That's why it's also the only remontoir d'égalité that is officially chronometer certified. Again, here this was an achievement with our watches. And finally, the most recent collection that is extremely successful today because also we have a smaller case diameter from 44 millimeter to about 42 with a very three-dimensional construction. We have here developed a cylindrical or helical hairspring with our own proprietary patented end curve that is Berthoud end curve to pass the CORS without the help of a tourbillon. So it was the first helical hairspring CORS certified without a tourbillon. This is many years of research and development, and of course, as you know, our watchmakers have to shape their hairspring by hand. It's at Ferdinand Berthoud, a watchmaker makes a complete watch, but also has to go to the regulating. He makes from A to Z intake. That means we have watchmakers that are complete watchmakers that are also time rater. This is extremely difficult to find. They need a lot of experience. And this is typically something they never learn at school because it has never been done.
Of course.
So when a new watchmaker comes, even if he has already 20 years of experience, we know that he will need minimum 6 to 8 months until he can have his first movement assembled and sent to the CORS. Before, he has no chance because we know it's very difficult. So we give roughly 1 year test, I would say, learning. When they join, we tell them, don't worry, don't be stressed. We give you the time to learn because what we do is totally different from the rest of the industry.
I have to say that, huh? It is, indeed.
So we have this beautiful mosaic of bridges, sandblasted with natural sun.
Okay.
That we use real sun, that means crystal that is calibrated and that is projected by air.
Okay.
Nothing to do with brush or laser finishing that is today very often used. And people say sandblasted, and we say no. Sandblasted means you use sand.
For sure.
But today nobody is doing that. It is very, very difficult to achieve.
I think today nobody is doing what you're doing.
No, it's true.
So
at this level, because you imagine the decoration, like a movement like that has 230 parts, we spend between 250 hours.
How many different finishings? A lot, huh?
Or a lot.
Man.
And without electricity, exclusively using manual tool and under microscope with a 6.7 time magnification. We have to not to forget that Ferdinand Berthoud was master watchmaker to the King of France and the Navy. So he was making the best watches for the elite of his time, and we respect that. Because he was at the peak of the quality he could supply to the king. So we say we cannot go for something less qualitative than his work, otherwise
And I'm sure he didn't have.
it would be a less of respect for his work.
And I'm sure he didn't have laser engraving, so.
No, that's why we also go for manual
respect
tools. The same tools he could use in the 18th century, and our team shape their tools depending on what they need. They participate to the research and development to be sure that what we have designed they can decorate. Sometimes they say, no, you have to change this because he will not be able to decorate. Okay, we change the design. Also the watchmaker that participate, because we must be sure that, okay, it will good for you, you can assemble. That sometimes they say, no, change this element because otherwise we may scratch something when we... So it's important. That's why we take usually between 5 to 6, 7 years on the development, because it integrates everybody, not only an engineer that developed something and did give to his colleague. Ferdinand Berthoud is really old school.
Yeah.
That means the craftsmen must be integrated because otherwise they cannot do it.
So it's not like movement comes first, aesthetic comes
Exactly.
first. Everything
is built together. The design, the case, the hands, everything must be built together to be sure that we have a perfect harmony, and also that it is in terms of pure watchmaking that it is stable, efficient, working.
And how many are you in now in the company totally?
We produce 55 watches per year, and we are already 21 workers.
Wow.
And by the way, we have 4 positions open for watchmaking.
Please, if you see this video, send them your CV for sure. And yeah, because I've just seen in the book you just released that you have. There's a lot going on here. It's an amazing book, by the way, guys. If you ever have the chance, we all suggest it to you. But we're not here for the book today.
To make the promotion of the book, but it's very beautiful. And you see a picture with all the team.
Oh yeah, that's why I asked you. That's why I asked you.
All the team is here. The team at the time and Mr. Scheffler, of course. His project, so he's really following in details.
Indeed, he almost has the he's almost ubiquitous, which I don't know how he can pull off, and he's always very nice and always perfect. So really huge esteem. Yes, indeed.
It's quite funny to see. At the time we take the picture, now we have one extra watchmaker that just joined that is not on the picture. That will start his training period. Funny because people who have 20 years of experience,
and that's
they say, but they have to be humble because otherwise no chance.
Yes, of course, but I feel like it's more a philosophy than a company somehow.
Exactly. Sometimes
very interesting because you also, for sure, that's watchmaking, I guess, but sometimes I feel like you make it complicated just to prove to you that you can do it, which is honestly
You're right.
great.
It's true.
And, but again,
we don't go for facility because we say otherwise the competitors can do the same.
Of course.
So we say, please try to do the same at the same level. That means today we have very few competitors on the market.
Indeed. And is this more your approach or Mr. Scheffler's one?
This is my approach.
I like that very much.
We are closing the door, but please try and spend the time.
Well, that's perfect. Well, and this brings us literally to what you did today. Well, not today specifically, but I mean for this time. By the way,
this week
we're in a beautiful pop-up for this week. Bravo, really, it's really nice. And finally, we can see you a bit in less secrecy because I feel like also Ferdinand Berthoud is a brand we just see a few times.
Well, we like to be discreet.
Indeed.
Well, I like to share with the collectors directly, with journalists that appreciate the work, but we don't make noise. It's the collectors themselves, they post, they explain, and we have the chance that people help us to promote. Actually, thank you because we make very good work.
So
we appreciate that your knowledge and passion for the watchmaking.
I have to be honest with you. I do this more than anything else to talk to you and to learn because I feel it's the only brand. Well, there are some small others where you can learn something.
Oh yes.
But it's indeed a brand that every time I sit down with you or anyone with your team, I learn something about watchmaking that I didn't know before. So
thank you.
Honestly, it's more like a school for me, which is amazing, honestly. But again, making things complicated, which is your specialty, and it's really great, honestly. I think you've done quite a job also in terms of the fact that this watch right here, which is the one we're having today, is a prototype, right?
It's our first handmade prototype. This is the famous project Naissance d'une montre that was initiated in 2009 by the Thymian Foundation to preserve, maintain the watchmaking skills, the traditional watchmaking skills, by making a watch with manual tools only. That means watches, tools from the 1950s, 60s, antique machines that are operated by hand, and the mind of the micromechanic. And here we joined this project in 2019,
Okay.
and we are able, for our 10th anniversary, to present this Naissance d'une montre Chapter 3 by introducing the first Naissance d'une montre handmade with a fusée and chain and
Wow.
a very special regulating organ that was no longer used in any wristwatch since probably the end or maybe 1920. That means an integral balance or a bimetallic balance wheel, split balance wheel with the material made by Guillaume. That means Invar and brass material. This was never achieved, and actually even the founder of the Thymian Foundation, the most important watchmaker that we can find today, never worked with this balance wheel, and they say we do not know how they were doing in the past century. So it takes us minimum 3 years just to find the technique to create a disc of material with these two alloys, the Invar and the brass, that is used for thermal compensation of the hairspring and to provide the isochronism to the watch. All these are challenge, but this watch actually is a corporate project, so it's a Ferdinand Berthoud timekeeper. This is a corporate project between Chopard Craftsman and Ferdinand Berthoud. It involves 80 people between the two organizations, and we have a watch that is completely crafted by hand, finished by hand.
And that's what I wanted to ask, because completely made by hand means literally case, movement, hands, crystal.
Not the crystal. Not the crystal.
I was curious about that. Okay.
In another life, maybe.
Okay, that's why I was like,
not the crystal, and not the gaskets, but the rest, 98% of the elements are made by the rubies are also synthetic. Because the resistance of natural rubies at that size would not be enough actually to support shock. And this watch actually, we spent 6 years of work, 11,000 hours of craftsmanship, not engineers, but just craftsmanship. That means the people who were working. It's a superlative, and this is the first bimetallic watch with a constant force fusée and chain that is officially chronometer certified. It's the only Naissance d'une montre that is chronometer certified. So we added really a lot of things on it.
So chronometer certified on a handmade.
But even the engineer of the COSC, they tell us we never saw that since the foundation of the COSC.
Well, indeed, I guess so. I mean, nobody is no longer doing anything completely by hand, and B, if you think about precision, well, the first thing comes to your mind is not fully handmade. And also what I was really impressed by is that when I first saw the prototype the other day, it gives a bit of handmade finishing in terms of also the numerals and stuff, but the final version you've made is perfect, honestly. And that's impressive because of course the goal, I think, is to be perfect even with handmade.
Because we control also under microscope at the same level of a watch, of any of our watches, because it bears the same name, and that was a big challenge.
Well, yeah,
and it's still a big challenge because we have 10 watches still to produce. We will maybe deliver 1 or 2 per month, per year, I would say per year. So it will be a long process. But the most important also is that when a watchmaker has learned, or the micromechanic has learned to make a pinion by hand with a small machine to polish, he has to train his colleague, because this is the purpose of this project, is transmitting the know-how. And of course we know that some of them, after maybe, I don't know, 2-3 years, maybe they will leave the company and go to another company, but they will, I would say, have the knowledge and be able to bring this knowledge to another exceptional watchmaker that will do something at this level. This is very important because these skills are going to be lost.
Yeah.
And this will be a disaster for the industry. And I believe you already visited our workshop.
Not yet.
No, not yet.
I visited Chopard, but not you.
You have to come because it's quite impressive to see that our team is quite young.
Okay.
We have a lot of young, passionate watchmaker or decorator, people who it's amazing because today you hear a lot of young people have they are not willing to work. This is completely wrong.
Yeah.
We saw a lot of young talents full of passion that don't calculate their time. They dedicate. They give all the emotion they have, and this is wow. It's cool. No, the next generation will make it very good.
I'm very happy to hear
It's
because
important.
I'm from
Exactly.
that generation. But yeah, I think as long as there's passion, there's always
Always.
effort and everything. So you're gonna have the first ever Finnish watch at Philips. Well, the only available Finnish
The
watch.
only available and the first available that will be delivered this year is the unique piece crafted with a stainless steel case that will be auctioned by Philips, and the result of auction will be used by a foundation that actually provides help to watchmaker that needs to enter the studies but sometimes cannot come to Switzerland, that need help to find a flat or something, to pay something to go to the worst step. But this is very good because this is also part of this project, learning, transmission and preservation, and this is part actually of the philosophy of this Naissance du Monde project.
Well, it's amazing. Also, again, yeah, it's a closing third because
Absolutely.
it starts with a watch, but it goes with a watch that wants to preserve this crafts, and then it goes back to a charity that does the exact same. You're only going to produce 11, correct?
Yes, then we have 10 watches crafted in gold.
Okay.
With the possibility to the collectors to choose the gold color of the case and even the gold color of the finishing of the movement. And these 10, of course, watches were already pre-sold before we launched because we announced the project 2019. We had collectors that follow the projects from the beginning, that asked their interest, even if they didn't know at all about the final watch, but they saw, well, since already the last newsletter they published,
Okay.
they really confirmed their interest, and Mr. Scheffler asked to have a complete profile from them to know who you are, what is in your collection, why do you want to acquire this timepiece, to be sure that these watches go into, I would say, the right hands. Very, very strong collectors that can understand. There are many, many in the world. So it was very difficult because you have only 10 watches. So for sure we will disappoint a lot of them.
Yeah.
And I have to apologize for that. I know that some of them that are extremely already disappointed. But you cannot say yes to everybody, so Mr. Scheffler has to make the selection himself. I know it was difficult for him, but that's it. We cannot produce 100 watches like that, otherwise we will spend a century.
Yes, indeed, totally.
That's why by selling one immediately at auction, it gives also the opportunity for those who couldn't actually access to receive one allocation to have at least the chance to have one.
Wow.
And if they buy it, they know that the money will be used for very interesting purpose, not just for marketing, but it will be used for training the new generation of watchmakers and helping them.
That's something very, very, very unique. How did the other people that were part of the previous project took it? What did they say? Do you have any idea? The other watchmakers?
The member of the Time Foundation, of course, we had contacts all along of the project, and when we unveiled the project, it was the day before. We had a small cocktail, a very simple format. And we enjoyed to see Mr. Stephen Fawcett that come personally, and the master, Mr. Dufour, that came also, because they are founding members. The other people from the foundation had a super busy agenda. They finally couldn't come for the cocktail, but we were extremely touched to have the founders of the Time that come, and it's true that they say that the work we have done was not bad.
Which is great, which is really great. Fantastic. I also noticed a little detail that I was told is a kind of an homage to Chopin itself, which is the little diamond with the Happy Diamond cut, correct?
Absolutely, it's the shock absorber,
Yeah.
functional, completely functional to protect the balance wheel against shock. And we decided as a notch to put a Happy Diamond reversed, shaped to be integrated of the watch. As you say, because without the help of the shock bar, it wouldn't be absolutely impossible to do a project like that today. It would cost so much that nobody would afford it.
I can very much imagine. I could never possibly guess how hard it could have been for you, and I guess you're pretty happy with the results.
Yes.
I mean, the watch is pretty remarkable, honestly, and again, as I said, it's really continuing a lineup, keeping up with the DNA, and in a very coherent way. What can we expect from the future then? Because this was a huge step and a huge,
Oui, it's a milestone. It's also showing where Ferdinand Berthoud can place the level. It's a continuation, but something that I believe very few people will expect to see.
Okay.
After 7 years,
7 years?
7
already?
years research and development for this watch.
Oh, wow.
It's a serious one.
Wow. And what's your goal for the future? And are you ever going to increase the quantity of watches?
Alors,
you
we
use?
try to increase. Actually, we are increasing by roughly. We try every year. We can manage to deliver maybe 4 to 5 more watches. That means
10%.
Voilà, 10%.
It's not bad.
From 50, that means 55 this year. I cross my finger. I hope we can deliver 55. Next year, maybe my team will be able to deliver 60.
Well, that's great.
As I mentioned, we are looking for watchmakers to join the team and to be part of this amazing journey. But it's very difficult, and we are based in Fleurier, so it's also a different mindset. You have to live in the nature. It's a beautiful place, actually, the Val de Travers, but it's not Geneva, it's not a big city.
Yeah.
So. But we have watchmakers that come from actually everywhere. We have a very international team. It's Italian watchmaker, French watchmaker, Swiss watchmaker. It's quite impressive.
Well,
Fleurier actually is a village in the Val de Travers where certainly 40% of the population are Italian.
no way.
Because they came already very early 20th century to work in the watch manufacturers. And they have a lot of expertise about watches. So actually, the Val de Travers is incredible. Remember that Michel Parmigiani, the founder of Parmigiani Watch Company, is Italian, and he created this. It's quite impressive. And we have Carrie Voutilaine, that is from the north of Europe. It's really... It's a small village, but it's quite internationally represented.
I really have to visit. Well, fantastic. Well, thank you so much for all this. I hope people can enjoy the watch in person in future as well. They will have the possibility to see it at Philips, right?
Yes, because we have here in the windows the unique piece that we have to give to Philips on Monday.
Okay, fantastic. So it's going for a pretty...
And then they make a road show, some cities in the world.
And then, of course, I guess the final destination.
And the final destination will be auctioned in Geneva in November, and we will see who will be the hero that acquired this timepiece.
But again, if in November you're in Geneva, I mean, it's really worth a visit, and I hope you will enjoy as well. I think we would need another 7 to 10 hours to explain all the watches one by one, because really there is a lot to learn.
Oui.
But thank you so much, and I hope that since it's the first time we delve a bit deeper into the brand, we kept it simple, also to give the possibility to grasp a bit what's all around Ferdinand Berthoud. And that said, I'm very happy to have had you here. So thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. It's
Hope
my pleasure.
to see you in Fleurier, and
yes,
congratulations for everything you did.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks to you. Make sure to follow us everywhere, from Instagram to YouTube. Leave a comment with your impressions, and go have a look at Ferdinand Berthoud, because you're going to discover something you could never think of.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.